Okay, what is up guys? Today in this video I'm going to be talking about procrastination and why I think it's great. Or at least it's a useful tool to understand yourself, right? So I'm going to be talking about how to avoid procrastination, but if you are experiencing procrastination, it is telling you something, right? So there are two reasons why you're procrastinating. There's only two. One, it's too difficult of a thing that's coming up. Two, it's too easy of a thing that's coming up, right? So if it's too difficult, you lack the knowledge to do the thing, and you know that, so you're procrastinating because you don't want to experience the failure of not being able to do the thing, right? There's an extremely narrow window of that perfect thing that is 4% harder than what you can conceptualize, and that is what gets you into flow, whatnot. Everything else is either too easy or too hard, and both things you're going to procrastinate on, right? So if it's too difficult, you need to get help from somebody, whether that is a mentor, a partner, a whomever, somebody who's knowledgeable about the thing that you're not wanting to do, right? Because you know that basically it's related to dopamine, right? If you fail at it, that's going to cause a decrease of dopamine, and your body and brain avoids pain, and low dopamine equals pain, right? So the other option is that it's too easy, right? So what does too easy mean? Too easy means it's not stimulating enough. It doesn't capture your interest. It doesn't, and people with ADHD, it's extremified because they already have, generally low dopamine, quote unquote, but that's a whole other topic. But stimulation is only relative. It's not the case that everything has a base amount of stimulation that it gives you. It's in comparison to something else. Let's say, I don't know, in the morning, you listened to your favorite music while eating your favorite food while, I don't know, at the gym getting a PR. It's going to cause a crazy spike in dopamine. And then one, that dopamine level is going to crash down. But two, doing your homework isn't going to feel as exciting. Whereas if you sat in a room that had white walls and you didn't have any stimulation, that homework is going to be the most exciting thing you've ever seen in your life, because it's like, oh my God, it's something that is feeding stimulation into me, right? So it's only by comparison. So if it's something that's too easy for me to get enough stimulation, I do it in the early morning. Why? Because there's nothing yet to compare it to that day. It does take multiple days for your dopamine levels to reset, whatever, but in general, sleep replenishes dopamine. So as long as you got a good night's sleep, there's nothing to compare the boring activity to yet, right? So if I wake up, I get my coffee, which by the way gives you more dopamine while you're doing an activity that you maybe perhaps don't like. So I drink my coffee and I do the most boring, least stimulating activity first. Then I do the second most stimulating activity second, and so on and so on and so on. So it's ramping up through the day, and then everything feels exciting and stimulating, and you don't need motivation to do it. Well, you're getting the motivation basically. You don't need as much discipline basically to do it. Great to build discipline, super cool, but you should also learn where motivation comes from and how to, get it, right? So that's why I get up early to do my boring things. That's pretty much it. So that's why you pretty much procrastinate on everything, because barely anything is in that little slot of 4% harder than what you can conceptualize. So you either need help, or you're comparing the boring thing to something more stimulating that happened before you did the boring thing, in which case you need to do the boring thing first. And that's about it.